Hello and welcome to 7 Minutes of Inspiration with Seven. You're watching me, Latasha Guy. You're either catching me on my Facebook, YouTube, or you're catching snippets on my Instagram. It is a absolute pleasure to be able to join you on today. Today is April 23rd, 2020. It has been an amazing week so far, and I'm looking to close that out on a great note. I did want to jump on today. Anytime there are things that download into me, I don't want to forsake the vision that has been given to me to encourage someone else. And so, welcome, 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 welcome. And so, this week's topic is one bad apple. One bad apple can spoil the bunch. And so, I'm going to be looking down at my notes a little bit because there was so much downloaded into me that I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. God woke me up early this morning and I was just like up. I try to get up early, strategically get some things done before I start my day. And so I'm standing there washing dishes. And I mean, the download just began to pour. The topic was given to me earlier this week, but when I say the download began to pour, the download began to pour. And so I'm like, okay, I got to be online in a few minutes to start working, but I got to get this out. So I began to journal. And so you'll see me look down because I want to make sure that I'm giving you what was downloaded into me. And so again, God woke me up early this morning with the download that it takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch. And so I said, Lord, you want me to speak on apples? And God told me it's the simple things. It's the simple things that we sometimes forget that that can stop us from being able to grow. I'm not sure if many of you guys heard it when you were younger. I know I heard it quite a bit in my household that it takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch. And so when you begin to think about that, for me, symbolically, that meant if you get around the wrong things or the wrong people, it can lead to a highway of destruction. And so God stretched the meaning for me on this week. He vividly downloaded into me on today of what exactly it meant. He vividly showed me that taking one bad apple can spoil the bunch. And it can contain your thought process, it can contain your behavior, and it can also contain your reactions. So let's talk about the bad apple. This week, I took a picture of some fruit, and I'm going to post it as well when I share the video. I took a picture of some fruit. There were a few pieces of the fruit that were mixed in with some good pieces of fruit that were left. Some didn't look favorable. I knew I wasn't going to eat them, but in that moment, I just did not desire to throw them away. We're in a period where we're not trying to throw much away. Whatever we've got, we're trying to keep it. I know that I'm constantly stating that same, eat that food that you bought. Eat that food. You know, a lot of us, we get tired, we don't want to eat the food. Trust me, I get like that too. I'm like, I want to eat something different. But for most guys that know and follow me, my husband, he cooks quite a few good meals. But sometimes it's the social interaction that makes you just not want to eat that food. And so I waited a few days, went back. I was like, I got to get rid of that fruit. It was coming up on trash day. I was like, let me throw some stuff out. I'll keep the good ones, write my list, and get what I need to add to the bunch. When I went back, y'all, all of the fruit was tainted. Done. Nothing was left that was favorable. So I tossed it out, and it just symbolically began to speak to me that usually, if we leave something around something that's rotten for too long, it'll spoil everything that you've got going on. And so, again, a couple of days, maybe a day or two, I went back and the whole bunch was spoiled. And so what God was showing me in the spirit, if you leave something around something that's rotting for too long, it too can find itself rotting along with it. That is why it is dangerous to stay around tainted fruit for too long without having the wisdom or guidance from God to remove yourself. And so my thought process, again, this is on apples. Hanging around apples with jacked up thought processes can literally destroy you. Destroy you. I've seen it with my own eyes. It can literally destroy you. They say birds of a feather flock together. I say people that are connected with the same mindset sometimes can affect you as well. And so if you hang around negative and draining people for too long, they can destroy you. You start being negative and draining. For me, I'm going to be flat out blunt about it. I hate to even communicate with people that are negative all the time. It's like you can't find something to be happy about. And so, again, making sure that you're connecting with like-minded people that desire to grow and go in some of the places you desire to grow. Maybe it's not the same avenue, but you both have hope left. You both have plans for your future. You both have a dream that you're going after. You're connected with people that know their purpose and they're going after it. And so again, for me personally, I hate to be around people that are negative and draining, because my goal is to motivate and encourage. So if you don't want no encouragement, don't call me, because I ain't got nothing else for you. I'll send you a video. I'll send you a scripture. I'll send you a text. I'll warm your soul. But I'm not getting on the negative bandwagon with you, because I don't want to find myself being more negative than I am being positive, because it totally can destroy your mindset when you begin to connect with others like that. Now, many people have been tainted by bad relationships, unfavorable upbringings, and being planted in the wrong places. While many have learned to blossom beyond those circumstances, many have allowed those circumstances to take root and become detrimental for their ability to grow beyond them. So, for example, a toxic relationship, it can lead you to believe that maybe, just maybe, you weren't meant to find love. You were meant to be alone, when in fact you haven't even given yourself permission to be in a good relationship. You went from bad relationship after bad relationship. Maybe even in your life, you've seen nothing but bad relationship. No one's grown beyond that point. And so you just think that's the way life is supposed to be. It's not. I grew up in very unfavorable situations. It wasn't a 2-parent household. It was a 1-parent household. My mom did the best that she could with what she had, but I'm sure that wasn't her destiny of, wanting to be raising children on her own. And it wasn't because my dad left. I'll get into that story much later, but she found herself in an unfavorable circumstance. I can say honestly, in my family, seeing people be married was just not something that I seen all the time. So there was no model to follow. There wasn't a model that I could look at to say this is how it should be. And so I really had to pray for guidance and connect with people that did have good marriages, and that people that did want to go further and be the best that they could in their marriage or relationships. And honestly, guys, that's what helped me. Raising children, that was another thing that God stamped and planted in my spirit. He said you sometimes can get to the point you allow one child to penalize the other children in the household for the mistakes of what that one child did, assuming that because one didn't get it right, the rest are going to get it wrong, when that's not the case. You're compartmentalizing your children. I once had listened to a message where it talked about, sometime at a young age, we can plant certain things on our children to say when they get 2, they're going to be terrible. When they get the 4, when they get in their teens, oh my God, they're going to cause you so many problems. That doesn't mean that that's the journey for you. You're allowing someone to throw their experiences of what they've experienced in parenting on you. Let your experiences be your experiences. Everybody's got to go through things on their own. I hate to say it, like, I became a mom so young. There was a lot of things that I figured out on my own through just wisdom. A lot of times I called parents that were getting it right. I tried to surround myself around parents that were taking care of their children, and we were trying to be the best parents that we could be. But it doesn't mean just because you do all of that, your children won't get it wrong. It just means that you may have to parent a little bit different with the trouble ones, opposed to the ones that just get it right. So remember that. And then going after things that you want. That was another thing that got stamped and planted in my spirit. Maybe something you wanted before. Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's a promotion. Or even the courage to leave something that you're tired of. Because you know that you deserve more. And so you'll look at another person's path, how it didn't work for them. You'll assume that that's the same way it'll go for you. That's developing the bad apple syndrome. You just think that what you're surrounded by, you have to pull yourself out of those situations. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. You have to pull yourself out of those situations. Connect with somebody that is going somewhere, that's got a success story to share. I'm sure they've had some pitfalls along the way, but they're getting through it, they're getting over it, and they're going forward. And so I leave you guys with the best advice that I can give you, and that I've been given, is that all you can do is live your life. Continue to separate yourself from the rest. Be glad that you don't sound like the rest of them. You don't think like the rest of them. You don't act like the rest of them. One thing that I am constantly in prayer is to make me different. I was not made to fit in. I was born to stand out. And so in standing out, I'm not going to look like the rest of everyone else. Doing this vlog is it's not looking like the rest of them. I don't try to mimic the way anyone else is doing it. I do it the way that God gave it to me. There's a couple things I've had to tweak because I was on the 7 minutes of inspiration with 7, but again, I couldn't keep it to 7 minutes. And so we decided to change that thing and switch it up to where we drop it at 7, because I'm not going to put a limit on what God wants me to share. And so, guys, I leave you with, it takes one bad apple, one, to spoil the bunch. It can suffocate everything around it. You either become the bunch that's getting tainted or rotten, or either you become the rotten apple yourself that is destroying everything around you. Literally, you're self-sabotaging. And it's time for us to truly break free so that we can live a fruitful life that God intended for us. Many of us are just finding ourselves in some unfavorable circumstances, asking, what's next? When will this happen? When will this open? When will this door close? Lord, I'm ready to move forward. When in all timing, God's timing, He will work those things out that He's purposed over your life. Get away from the rotten apples. I cannot say it more simple. Get away from the rotten apples. They're going to destroy you. They're not in a good place. Sometimes you have to pray and keep it moving, but you can't entertain it. Are you going to continue to come across rotten apples? I'm sure you will. But the thing is to gain the wisdom and discernment that when you find yourself sitting in the midst of a bunch of rotten fruit, to remove yourself immediately. Move forward. Say, this is not what I want to be connected with. This is not going to help me to grow. This is not going to help to stretch me in that area or direction that I'm seeking to go. I got to get connected with some people that see like I see, think like I think, that want to stand out, that want to be different, that want to keep going forward, even in the midst of what we're going through now. You want to get around some people that are being strategic about their next move. You don't want to be around people that are just settling at this moment that we know this is the new normal. We realize that things will never be the same. But what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? Because sitting here whining about how things used to be and how they could be, and if you could be doing this, a lot of us are blessed. We're still employed. We're still working. Okay? We're still in our good health. Everybody has not been that fortunate. So appreciate what you have while you have it. And again, get around some good fruit. Deposit yourself in some good ground. Make sure that you're planning yourself for where you desire to go. Be strategic in this season of your next moves, because you don't know when that door is going to open and you're going to need to hit the ground running. And you don't want to get left behind, because most of us have been given enough time to get it together. This has been 7 with 7 brought to you for this Friday's feature. And as always, I leave you with, refuse to live less than blessed, because that's what you've been called. And guess what? You're amazing. Have a great rest of your week.